Patrick Netherton Show, 11:30, The Tiger. And look, when we tell you we get the biggest guests in the area, we're not lying, folks. We don't play around here. The good news is, I don't think this big guest will threaten to pile drive me at any point in time during the interview, though he might. Larry the Cable Guy joins us on vacation from parts unknown. Larry, what's up, my man?
Who threatened to beat you up?
Lawler.
Lawler did?
Yeah, Lawler threatened. He literally, within 5 minutes of the interview, he threatened to pile drive me.
Well, Jerry, I wanted to pile drive you when I first met you, too.
I understand. I get it. I totally do. I understand.
Go ahead.
No, hey, if you want to follow that up, my friend, you follow that up. This is your segment.
Well, it's good to be on, Patrick. Be on your show and the whole deal. I mean, I'm excited to be on here. I appreciate it.
Man, I'm very pleased to have you with us. And I mentioned that you're on vacation in parts unknown because I don't want to get the paparazzi. I don't want to clue them in on where you're at.
There ain't gonna, trust me, there will be no paparazzi. My wife is from the state of Wisconsin, and we are north of Highway 8 in the Northwoods, Wisconsin. And I'll guarantee you will not see any paparazzi up here.
Maybe some bird
Holy
watchers.
smokes! As a matter of fact, I just went to a wedding yesterday, and you talk redneck wedding. You know, Foxworthy says there's rednecks everywhere. Well, let me tell you. They had the father-daughter dance last night, and they ended up leaving together.
Of course they did. Of course they did.
What in the world? And I'm not saying that the bride was big, but my buddy caught her garter belt. He's been using to tie up cordwood on his pickup truck for the last 10 days.
That's perfect. That is perfect. And why not? Put it to good use while you got it. There's no doubt about that.
I hear you, but I'm just sitting up here, a little vacation. I'm trying not to eat bad,
Yeah.
I got to do something, Patrick.
Yeah.
You and I, we're just big bone fellas, but I know I got to do something. I got on the trampoline yesterday with the kids. I did 2 jumps and I had to get off. I mean, I wasn't tired or anything, but I had to call the fire department to come get my kids out of a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, holy smoke.
Yeah. Look, one time I was doing a softball tournament, Larry, and they had a bounce house, a little kid's bounce house behind the grandstand, and I was sitting on top of the bleachers right over the bounce house, and all I could think about is how fun would it be if I just jumped from this grandstand right into the middle of that bounce house.
They'd go flying, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But see, the bounce house, at least it has netted walls to keep them from flying too far.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you need to invest in some better protection around that trampoline.
Shoot, you'd probably just end up popping it.
No, there's no doubt about that. If I jumped on it, the springs wouldn't even hold me. You kidding me? The trampoline would give up at that point. All right, so the cool thing is, and the reason why I can have you on a sports talk show, even though, look, my show is my show. I do all kind of weird stuff, but you're a huge Nebraska Cornhuskers fan. You're a native Nebraskan. You live in Lincoln. You're a Cornhuskers guy through and through. So
that's right. I grew up on a pig farm in southeast Nebraska, then moved to Florida, lived there for about 30-something years, and then now I'm back here again.
Yeah, and you are, I know, exceptionally excited about the fact that Scott Frost is leading that team. Tell me, when you heard that Scott Frost was going to be the guy, a former quarterback, a former, a native son, basically. Tell me what was going through your head when you heard Scott Frost was getting the job.
Well, the first thing I did was I went down to the bar and I told everybody the drinks are come down. Drinks are on Tim Brando. So we went down there, charged a ton of drinks to Brando, and everybody's excited. Scott, I've known Scott since the late '90s. He used to come to my shows and stuff back when he was just a junior and a senior in college, and so I'd already known him. And but he's Tom Osborne Jr. I mean, Tom Osborne was his mentor, and they're really good. He's like his adopted kid, and they're just alike when Tom Osborne was his age. I mean, it's crazy. And we're glad to have him back. He knows what the culture of our football team used to be. You know, Nebraska in the modern era since 1970. I mean, it was always a bowl game, and we'd only lose one, maybe two games if it was a really bad year. And we had that dynasty in the 90s, and we got an administration in there that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and they completely just ripped that football culture apart.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott's back. He's bringing it back. He's bringing back the toughness. You know, back when we used to watch those games, it was crazy a few years ago when Riley was there, who was a good man. Don't get me wrong, but
one of the best guys you're ever going to find.
But when Riley was there, and it's just, I mean, we actually gave up. Some of the players didn't, but you could tell as a team they were just, hey, you know what? They were happy with, they were happy with beating, an FCS school by 1 point. They were happy with that, and people that grew up with Nebraska football weren't happy with. Well, Scott's bringing back that culture that we had, and they're playing tough. And the people that didn't want to play tough have left the program, and things are really looking up. I mean, he's a great coach, and he's getting good kids, good character kids, and we're excited about it.
As you should be. Talking to Larry the Cable Guy, and you mentioned happy beating FCS programs by a point, and Larry, I hooked you up with McNeese when they came up there, and that's the team you're talking about that almost beat Nebraska at their place. And I'll never forget, you're texting me while McNeese is up late, and I'd hooked you up. You went and spoke to the team, and you're like, man, if McNeese wins this game, like, I'm in trouble, right? You're in trouble if McNeese wins that game because you went and talked to him.
I went and gave them a pep talk, and next thing you know, they almost beat us. And I was saying, if they win this game, I'm going to have to move out of the state. And I went down there to the opposing team, gave them this big rah-rah pep talk, and by gosh, they almost pulled it off.
Yeah.
But they were good folks, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed McNeese. Has a good football team and good people, and I enjoyed speaking to them. But that's the last time I go speak to opposing teams.
I don't blame you.
Holy smokes, I'm not kidding. They would have run me out.
Yeah, and by the way, the head coach at McNeese, Matt Viator, is now at Brando's alma mater at Louisiana Monroe. So Brando gets to give him pep talks from now on. I don't think they're as effective, though. Well,
if he's giving them pep talks, they're not going to win a game.
That's right. There's no doubt. There's no doubt about that.
He says he's going to give them a pep talk, but he won't. He doesn't show up for it.
That is.
I always got that running joke with you, Pat.
Yeah, that's it.
Timmy Brando tells me every year he's going to play in my golf tournament. He's been telling me that for 5 years. I'll be there. When is it? I'll be there. And then 10 days out, I can't be there. Now it's just kind of a running gag. If he does show up, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah, you won't know what to do.
I know.
The only time he shows up is when he gets to come to your house and drink all your booze.
I know. Well, he does that,
Yeah.
We, whenever Fox has a game over in Lincoln, I always host Timmy and everybody from the Fox crew out. We have a great time, but
yeah,
he does show up for that stuff, but he hadn't done to my golf tournament.
Yeah,
yet.
We'll get him. Look, if I have to tie him up and throw him in the back of the car, I'll drive him up there one time and we'll get him in that thing.
My favorite Tim Brando story, because I like golf, you like golf, he loves golf. One day we'll all three get together and play, but I love. He was given a lesson out of the trap.
Yeah.
You saw that. He was given a lesson out of the trap, and he chunked it. It was the greatest video of all time.
Oh, Timmy's tips from the tee, or from the trap, as the case may be. Do as I say, not as I do. I think that's Brando's golfing motto, Larry.
Hey, I went out today.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble with my distances, and I worked with a pro today, and by golly, I'm throwing my clubs 15 yards further.
Unbelievable. That is amazing.
Thank you very much.
That's good technique. You got to have the right wrist snap. You got to set the wrist correctly in order to be able to get good distance on those throws.
Well, I'm getting ready. We got this the American Century Celebrity Tournament in Lake Tahoe coming up July 10th, I believe. So I've been trying to get out and get ready for that. I've been every year I finish better and better, And Patrick, you'll be proud of me today.
Yeah.
I shot a 79 today.
Whoa! Look at you.
So I was pretty stoked about it. It's the only second time in my life I've been in the 70s.
That
so
is.
Hopefully I don't fall apart before Tahoe.
You know, if it wasn't just the second time you'd ever broken 80, I would have went with the. And what did you shoot on the back nine? But you know, when you've had that kind of when you've had that good around, I can't make that joke at you.
Yeah, no, that was good, which is good for me because last year I was the only guy after a golf tournament to show up on the Golf Channel and Court TV on the same day. That's right. I used to do a joke about when Kim Jong-un was starting all his nuclear talk.
Yeah. I
used to do a joke about, I could care less if he launches a missile. Chances are I'll be in a bunker somewhere anyway.
You're like, as long as you have Brando's Instagram video, you'll be able to get out unsuccessfully. Hey, I want to talk about how you translated Larry the Cable Guy into Tow Mater and had the great success. By the way, we've had several people that have texted and said, hey, let him know my kids, Tow Mater's my kid's favorite character, all that. And that
awesome.
Kids love him. But you tell a bit about when you went on one of the cruise ships and you were doing the announcements.
Yeah, this was great. I got the job of Mater. John Lasseter told me he'd been through about 200 voiceover people and 150 actors, and he still couldn't find the voice he wanted. Then he got a blue-collar comedy CD, and I was the first one he heard, and he goes, there it is, that's Mater. So basically, I went over there. I was nervous. To make a long story short, I'm in the booth, and I said, "Well, is Mater a quick talking guy, or is he a slow?" Because I was trying to figure out what he wanted for Mater, and he basically said, "No, he's you. He's you. Just be you." So my first line on the sheet that day was, "My name's Mater, like Tow Mater without the tuh," and I just went, "My name's Mater, like Tow Mater without the tuh," and he started laughing and said, "Oh, this is gonna be great." So anyway, we did the movie. And flash forward now 6 years later, we did Cars 2, and he wanted me to go on the inaugural launch of the Fantasy cruise ship, Disney cruise ship, and everybody's on there from Disney and Pixar and Bob Iger, and I did a show in the showroom. And so at the end of the day, John Lasseter said, hey, go and make a ship's announcement. And to everybody's going to hear this announcement on the ship. It's going to go, and as Mater, tell everybody thanks for coming on the cruise ship, and then have Mater introduce you, and you tell everybody thanks for coming to your show. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, that is really weird because I'm Mater.
Right.
But so every time, John Lasseter and I, we still laugh about this. He couldn't believe he said for me to do it. But this is exactly how the announcement sounded on the cruise ship. Hey, everybody, this is Mater, like Tow Mater without the tuh. Boy, I tell you what, I'm up here in the tornado in the trailer park that you come on this fancy cruise and shoot, dadgum, if you ever get to Radiator Springs, you and me, we'll do some backward driving. And don't forget, you and me, we's best friends. Now, here's my buddy Larry the Cable Guy to say something to you. Hey, everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy. It was the same daggone voice. It didn't change.
That's
and
why.
that's kind of that's always hindered me. I've had other people suggest me for other like cartoons and stuff, but everything sounds like Mater.
Yeah. Look, and I've told you repeatedly to your face, there is nothing more genius than getting paid double for doing the same voice. I mean, that's
exactly
that is amazing. Like,
I tell everybody, this is how good I am in voiceover work. I'm the only guy that actually puts on weight to do voiceover.
You're method acting. If you're going to be the size of a tow truck, you got to get the size of a tow truck.
I know. I hear you.
Hey, one thing I did want to ask you though is you're in the process of getting ready to tape a special. I think Joliet, right? Joliet, Illinois. You're taping the special coming up.
Yes, sir. Joliet, Illinois.
I'm curious because you are one of the most rapid-fire comedians there are. You pack more punchlines per minute in any act than any comedian I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm curious, how do you remember everything? How are you able to remember so many setups, punchlines repeatedly like that?
Boy, you know, the older I get, the harder it gets to memorize it. I'm not kidding. My memory is starting to go. Have you ever left your groceries on the roof of your car
No.
for 2 weeks? You ever done that? Well, that's about where I'm at.
You need to drive
you
more.
know what? You just go on stage and you do them over and over repetitiously, and you just got it burnt in your mind what comes next, and that gives me the opportunity and the ability to work in 7 or 8 new ones every time I go on stage, and so that's pretty much it. You just keep doing it, even when I'm not working. You know, I'm pretty much I was on the road 285 days a year for a long time.
Wow.
When I hit about 52, I'm 56. I told my wife I'm gonna start slowing down. I went to 30 dates a year, and that's it. But what I would do is it was all weekend. So when I wasn't working on a weekend, I would still go outside, take a cigar with me or something, and I'd walk around the parking lot, and I'd just do my act just to keep it fresh in my head. Because if I don't keep it fresh in my head, I'm not going to remember. But I'm glad that you said that, though, because I love one-liners. It's a dying thing. Not a lot of comedians are one-liner comedians anymore, and I used to love all the old-time guys, the vaudeville guys, and there's a few of us out there, not a lot of us, but a few of us, and man, they're fun to write, but you're right. When you got about 230 punchlines in a 65-minute, 70-minute show, sometimes you got to put down a little cheat card somewhere so you don't forget something.
Yeah. Write them on your hands. You're all of a sudden it's like that scene from Spies Like Us where he's got the eye patch and he's rolling them out of his fake broken arm, and you got them everywhere.
Oh yeah, well I do. I write stuff on my hand just in case I need it. I never look at it, but it's just kind of like a little comfort blanket.
Yeah, a little security blanket.
I got it there if I need it.
Yeah, that's amazing stuff. And the one thing I will say, and I've got to imagine, built into Larry the Cable Guy, you know, everyone knows you come out with the hat, you're coming out with the sleeveless shirt or whatever. It's ingenious that that's the outfit that is most recognizable, because I just realized, Larry, if you want to go incognito, you just wear a regular shirt. No one knows who you are.
Well, it used to be that way. I had a regular shirt on the other day, and I got recognized. But that might be the hook on my hat. I've had a hook on my hat since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So, you know, I have always had that on my hat. But, you know, I'll tell you what's crazy about it. When I started doing the whole cable guy thing, I just dressed like I dressed normally, and it caught on. So sometimes when I'm out and I'm doing stuff and I got a sleeveless shirt or something, people go, "Oh, look, he's always in character."
Yeah.
This is what I wear.
This is comfortable.
I'm comfortable. I'm not trying to, you know, be on stage all the time. It's just comfortable. You know, I grew up most of my life in Florida, and you know how it is there where you're at. I mean, it's steaming hot. I mean, shoot, you could film an episode of Swamp People in our pants. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Shoot 'em.
Yeah, so I just like to dress comfortable. I feel I'm funnier when I'm comfortable. I'm more myself when I'm comfortable. So, I mean, it never, you know, that whole thing started with the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. That thing took off, and the only reason I had a sleeveless flannel on was I'm a bigger fellow. I'm a big bone guy, kind of like you, but the flannel shirts always hung so good. I just thought they made you look better, made you look a little thinner, and I used to wear them with sleeves, but we filmed that thing in Phoenix, Arizona in the summer.
Yeah, you'd have died.
And so I went on stage with a sleeveless flannel, only not because I was trying to make, hey, this is a statement, this is my get up. It was just comfortable. It was cool. And that was the thing that pretty much caught on. So now when I'm on stage, I'm always sleeveless, or somebody will be disappointed.
I got to know, I'm
glad I performed with pants on.
Yeah, no doubt. Aren't we all? I have to say, you are as avid a golfer as any person I know. You play golf constantly. Have you or have people asked you to come out? Because, you know, look, typically if you're playing at a nice golf course, they want a collared shirt. They want, you know, regular shorts, that kind of thing. Have people asked you or expected you to come out sleeveless to play golf?
Well, you know, I used to hate golf, and now I love it. I didn't get into golf till about 9.5 years ago. 10 years ago is when 2010 is when I first picked up a golf club. And so I love it now. But you know what? I always ask before I do these tournaments, because I know some people, how they get with golf, and I don't want to, if it's a certain course, I don't want to disrespect the course. It's like what I did Pebble Beach. I called in advance and said, look, can I go with my sleeveless camo? And they said, no, you do what you do. This is to raise money. This is for charity. You do what you want.
Nice.
So I always call in advance. But no, when I'm just out golfing normally, I'll respect the rules of the course. You know, I don't want people to go, how come he gets to go sleeveless? So right. I don't do that. So I always make sure that it's okay with everybody, and then I go ahead and do it. So,
Larry the Cable Guy, last question for you. You are taping a special. Do you have distribution for that yet? Do you know how we can see it when it finally gets all put together?
You know what? It's going through all social media type platforms,
okay.
Like a lot of comics have been doing. It's through Comedy Dynamics, and once it gets taped and I'm ready to send it out there, we'll revisit it, and I'll tell you how everybody can get it. But I've been working, you know, my last album was with Foxworthy, We've Been Thinking. And so this is my first solo album since probably 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
Maybe 7 years. And so I've got all this material built up, and I've only got about another 5 minutes to go that I want to put in there. And it's real. You know what? I think my writing's it gets better and better every year. The one-liners are just, there's certain jokes, you know, when you get to, you cannot wait to tell them because they're so fun to tell.
Yeah.
And the laughs are good. And this special is awesome. I think all the material is really sharp, and I love it. So I think people will really like it. If they liked, oh man, what was the first one? Lord, I Apologize. And The Right to Bear Arms. I mean, this is right up there with those two. So,
yeah, I saw you in Lake Charles a little while ago, and you had put a whole bunch of new stuff in the act, and it's dynamite. I know a lot of that's going to be in there, and trust me, people, you're going to enjoy the heck out of it. It is great stuff. Brother, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. I hate to interrupt vacation time, but I really do appreciate you giving us some time.
No, I was happy that you called me nasty, Pat, and good luck with the show. You're a stand-up guy, and you know I love you, man, and good luck with everything you got going on.
No, literally, you're a stand-up guy. I'm just a sit-down guy. That's all I do.
Yeah, you're a sit-down guy, Pat.
Yeah, that's what I am. Larry, brother, appreciate it, man.
Get her done.
There you go. Larry the Cable Guy.